Hello everyone. I don't have a vacuum in these 3 boxes. I don't even have 3 vacuums, but I do have 531 magazines. And I'm going to spend this video showing you each and every one. We'll thumb through every one of the 531 magazines and we'll pick out a few gems, hopefully. No, I'm not going to spend the time doing that. This is going to be an unboxing and a quick flick through. I foolishly bought a job lot of electrical radio trading magazines from the 60s, 70s and 80s. And hopefully there's going to be some good vintage vacuum cleaner information, but there'll also be vintage washing machines, vintage televisions, radiograms, food mixers, everything you could buy for your home in the appliance market should be in these catalogues. So without any further ado, let's start by opening the first box. I used to work in electrical retailing myself in the 80s, and that's probably where I found my first copy of ERT magazine. It's probably in the staff room, and I subscribed to it myself for many years, and it was free actually. All you had to do was say you worked for one of the major electrical retailers, and then you'd get it, I think it was weekly. And there's also a magazine called Electrical Trader, which I think was a monthly magazine. So somebody put these on eBay recently, and I have bought the odd individual copy of this when they've popped up. But I saw, I don't know how I'm going to get this open. I saw this job lot listed, and in various different lots, you know, there was 100 in one lot, 60 something in another, 50 in another, and I couldn't decide which one to go for. So I thought, I'd like them all really, but you know, I think I might have to rotate this. I'm more interested really in the 70s and into the 80s, but I don't know, I couldn't let this opportunity pass by. Now what I'm going to do is sort through these. Obviously I'm not going to keep all these. I can't keep 531 magazines. Not every single one will have something of interest. But apart from new product launches from Hoover, Electrolux, all the big brands of the time, there'll also be information about the companies themselves, information about advertising, all sorts of things. I mean, this is going to be, the seller said it's going to be good bedtime reading for someone. Well, I'm going to be reading for many, many months if I was to read every one of these from cover to cover. If I can even get them open. So these have just arrived. 3 boxes, each weighing 28 kilograms. I didn't realise there would be so much weight to these magazines. And great, we've got some 70s 70s magazines to start with. Brilliant. This one randomly, well, just at the top, there you go. Are you interested in Philips washing machines? There's a Philips washing machine on the cover, well, 2 Philips washing machines. They used to be made in Halifax, Yorkshire. This is from Thursday, April the 19th, 1979. Price 20 pence. What I'm most interested for this video anyway is to have a look at the vacuum cleaners, and they will have some issues with floor care features, and that was something I always looked forward to when I got my ERT. If they had a floor care feature, it means several pages of the latest vacuum cleaners. So we've got video recorders. So it might be a while before I find a floor care feature. And obviously, that's what I'm going to look for first, the floor care. But then I will be going through all of these, not in this video, don't worry. But I will be going through all of these and seeing if there's anything related to vacuum cleaner manufacturers, Hoover, Electrolux. And of course there will be some advertising. When, say, Hoover launch a new model, there'll probably be a full colour advertisement just to tell retailers what you know, what Hoover have launched. So nothing so far. That's some 79. These aren't going to be in any order at all. But I'm just hoping we get... That's a thick one. Oh, now, this is 1978. Now, trigger warning, I'm going to show you something that's a little bit risque, and it's a bit unbelievable when you see it that this was used to promote, I think it's Hostess trolleys. I caught a glimpse of something. Well, I don't know if it's Hostess trolleys, but anyway, it says here, come and see how much more our Hostess is revealing. And we have a rather attractive 70s lady there about to open up her shirt and reveal her, I think they're called mammary glands. So I'm thinking, because this is an electrical magazine, that it could be a Philips Hostess trolley. Oh, well, it's not just, it's complementary to the Hostess trolley. We've got toaster and a smaller sort of food warmer there. Oh, and at the back there's the full range. And there's some famous people at the time. Lisa Goddard, Katie Boyle and Marguerite Patton. You won't know who any of those people are unless you're of a certain age and you live in the UK. Right. Oh, first thing, I did see this picture. This was, you know, obviously the seller didn't show every single front cover of all these magazines. It was just a selection. But that was on the front of the one, showing the very first dishwasher we had when I was growing up was this Hoover Autojet. I think that was made by Zanussi. Not Hoover. Hoover didn't... Oh, there's some more Hoover stuff. You see, this is going to take me ages to look through. And I'm going to really... Oh, it's a full spread. This is possibly the launch of the Hoover dishwasher. Yeah. And when was this from? 69. So yes, it was the early 70s that we had that. Oh, another dishwasher. Oh, another Hoover dishwasher on the front cover. But another dishwasher. If you like your dishwashers, there's a lot of dishwasher action. But I suspect we're going to see some vacuums soon. Clearly, in 531 magazines, there's going to be some vacuum cleaners. And I'm just whizzing through initially, just to see if there's a vacuum cleaner on the cover. Oh, something else Hoover. The Hoover, is that the Hoover 4 Plus? The new Hoover 4 Plus. What do they call that? Kuka. That wouldn't have been made by Hoover. That's probably made by, could be Belling or another big manufacturer. Made for Hoover. So Hoover on the front cover of this one too. A smaller double for the Autojet dishwasher. Still not seeing their floor care. Now, some of these might have vacuum cleaners inside, obviously, but I'm looking... Oh, look at that. Hoover small appliances there. Have I got any of those? Well, I've got the iron. I mean, I do have a Hoover toaster and a Hoover mixer as well, but not these particular ones. So what I'll do, folks, because seeing me do this will get a bit samey, won't it? So I'm going to pause the video and start recording again when I find something exciting. Out of this first box, I've picked a few magazines that have floor care or washing machines mentioned on the cover. So if you like washing machines, you might be interested in the annual washing machine review from March 1968. I was not even a twinkle in my father's eye then. So, oh, I've just seen vacuum cleaners. Oh, in next week's issue, trends in vacuum cleaners. We might not even have next week's issue. This is not all of them. There'll be a few gaps. But we have some lovely vintage washing machines there. That looks like a Hoover. That one there, that's certainly a Hoover one. Hoover Automatic Model 3208. There's some brands I've never heard of. Stock Vis Automatic. A Kenwood washing machine. Well, I never knew Kenwood, if it is the same Kenwood as makes the famous Kenwood chef. There's a Burco twin tub, look. Right, well, not very interesting. What I'm going to do, I think, once I've sorted these, I could make a sort of a series when I occasionally go through in detail some of these articles. And obviously, if I have time to read all these, it's certainly going to improve my knowledge of the domestic appliance industry from the 60s, 70s and 80s. Some Hoover washers there. Hoover make things better for you. Washer sales livelier for 1970. Right, is that... I have found one so far that has floor care mentioned on the front cover. This is another one that's got washing machines. So the washing machine enthusiasts will be going, oh, show us more, show us more. And the vacuum cleaner enthusiasts are saying, I don't want to see washing machines. I like both, folks. I like washers and vacuums. Well, I'm really interested in many domestic appliances. Oh, there's more appliances. Bendix there. We had a Philco, which I believe was a Bendix. That's Mary Berry. Crikey. Right, here's a shot. I'm sure that's Mary Berry. Let me see. It is Mary Berry. And she's promoting BSR housewares, which includes a Goblin vacuum. Can you see? There we go. That's what Mary Berry looked like in 1979. Bit more fresh face than she is now. Okay, here's this again. This was pictured in the listing and I did notice floor care. So let's have a look. I wonder what vacuums we're going to see from 1979. Well, we're seeing a Goblin 666. That must be the Devil's vacuum cleaner there. So I wouldn't get one of those. It'd be evil, an evil vacuum. And then we have floor care upstairs, downstairs in the two cleaner home. So in 1979, they were plugging two vacuum cleaners, not just one. It's a bit hard with the doodah. We've got a Hoover Freedom at the bottom, and that's an Electrolux 504. That's definitely... Oh, that's the Freedom with the power head. That's from a brochure, that picture. And then we have an Electrolux and a Goblin. New brooms. I remember that Russell Hobbs kettle. It's very futuristic for back then. Oh, there's more floor care. When I do this, if I go through this properly, I'll sort of scan the pages and then we'll be able to see clearly what cleaners there are. And Hitachi there, another Goblin, two Goblins. Some lovely, this is a good one. I'm going to look forward to reading these. Hoover Celebrity, Hoover Power Drive, there's a Miele stick there, Hoover Shampoo Polisher. I don't know if we've got any more. Oh yes, there's more. A Nilfisk, a Rotel, Siemens and a Moulinix. And look, Hoover, the Housewife's Choice. They're talking here about a TV commercial featuring some men vacuuming. So in 1979, the tide was turning, men could push a vacuum. So as I said, apart from articles dedicated to vacuums, there will be in all these other things from vacuum manufacturers, you know, promoting new machines and saying we're going to spend this amount on advertising this year, so you better get stocked up in your stores. So, these are heavy things. I was not expecting them to be quite so heavy. Okay. Heavier than a vacuum. Okay, let's pause the camera and open this box. Well, I've gone through another box and I've just been spending about a second per magazine. So what I'm finding is just hopefully the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff in here, but not even some of my most loyal viewers will sit through me flicking through every single one of these magazines. This took my fancy. Well, it didn't, but it just goes to show how much times have changed. In the 70s, you could not sell anything unless there was a pair of women's breasts in the picture. And as you can see, this woman, she looks very, very happy to have, what has she got there? Teleng Limited. I've never heard of them. Clearly they were either bought up by another big hi-fi manufacturer or went bust. Went bust. No pun honestly, no pun intended. They went bust because they featured busts. That lady, she's probably someone's grandmother now. She may be pushing up the daisies. But there you go, 70s, and I'm sure I'm going to find a lot more examples of ladies being exploited to sell domestic appliances and other goods. I remember cars were always sold with a half-naked lady draped on them. This has a floor care update. Oh, Hoover Sunshine. Oh look, Hoover Rowenta. Who's the next? So that's, you know, this is going to be absolutely fascinating for me to read these articles, so I can see there'll be articles about Hoover Perivale closing possibly, and all sorts of other things. This Hoover Sunshine, there's some little story there with Hoover MD Harry Hill hands over the keys to a minibus. So the Hoover Foundation sorted out a minibus for the Sunshine Variety Club Sunshine Coach. That's something I remember from the 70s, the Variety Club. Hoover Rowenta, who's next? As expected, Chicago Pacific has bought the Rowenta Group. They did buy the Hoover company, didn't they, in the USA? This would have been a time when Hoover UK and Hoover USA were under the same sort of management, same parent company. So Hoover USA was the parent company. Crikey, I remember that advert for those. I remember seeing that because I had some Wharfdale speakers. They were very popular. This will be like when I used to get this back in the day when I had it delivered. Oh, some vacuum action. Sometimes I would flick through and not be that interested, and there'll be other times when there'll be so much in the magazine that interested me. Oops, things falling out. Couple of Electroluxes there. We've got that unusual wet and dry Electrolux, which was branded Flymo. I remember seeing it in Flymo orange. And then there's Electrolux Quick Up. And then very popular cleaner from the 80s, the original Vax. Wet and dry is ready to suck up sales. And we have more wet and dry cleaners. The old Goblin Aquavax. And then Electrolux are pictured again. Vax, the only vacuum that washes. Is this the original? This is from 86, so I think that's probably the second generation Vax, which I do have, the one with the white hose. We've got the Hoover starting to show their face in wet dries. Well, they did before this, but this was made by Hoover, the Aqua Plus. Hoover's new wet and dries are house trained. They're claimed to be quiet and manoeuvrable. There's some handhelds. Some of those I've shown on my channel. I've certainly shown the Goblin Roto at the bottom, and the Hoover brush back there. There's a dust buster and a Sharp handheld vacuum. Don't remember that. Right, so that's I'll put that to one side. There's a Bendix washer. This has got some home laundry in it. This is from 85. I nearly bought that. Someone was selling one of those on eBay. I nearly bought it and somebody else bought it before me, so I lost out on that little mini wash and ITT Soloco mini washer and dryer. I nearly bought it and thought, oh, I have no room for it. I've still got some mini washing machines that I haven't even shown you. Here's a lovely advert for the washing machine I persuaded my mum to buy in the mid-80s, the Hoover Computer Control 1100, and that's the exact one she had, the white one. When it's got to be really white, a Hoover automatic. Hoover Who Better. Philco there. Philco washers. Very good. Just picked that up because it's got a goblin on the front, but it might not have vacuums inside. I can't feel my feet and the lower half of my legs. I've been kneeling so long, folks. Look at all. Oh, my mum had that. She had that very chef. She's had a few Kenwood chefs, but she had that one. That's the one that didn't last very long, I seem to remember. The Excel model that was. As I say, this will be fascinating. This is like, to me, it's better than a history book. This is why I like mail order catalogues. You can see a lot of those online, and you can see the things that people would have in their homes, how people furnished their homes, what appliances they had, what toys their children played with. It's all part of our history, and obviously I'm very interested in appliances, especially the vacuums. But I'm interested in it, you know, if it's got a plug on it, I'm quite interested. I picked this up because it's got a Hoover advert on the front. Winter hots up the small power game. Stock up with Hoover now. In winter, people want warm Hoover things. The new automatic over blanket. Stay at home things. The Hoover range of fan heaters. Things to make winter easier, like the new range of Hoover irons. The new electric knife. The electric food mixers. Add Christmas gifts to the winter demand and you've got a profit. A big profit. So lots of different small appliances that Hoover used to market, not necessarily manufacture. They did manufacture some of those things, but a lot of them were made by other companies and branded Hoover. Oh, this one says floor care. This is from 1985. Oh, I see a Sensortronic. I see a Sensortronic. It's a shame we have some colour. I wonder if there's going to be... I was just about to say, I wonder if Hoover have done any colour adverts, and they have, but it's coming up. Here's floor care, big prize money for a 2-horse race. I'm wondering if the 2-horse race is referring to Hoover and Electrolux, because they were the big brands back then. Penny Williams wrote that. Hoover claims its Turbo Power Trio above contained last year's bestseller, the U2194, proof that popular brands are moving up. And George Orwell predicted a gloomy 1984. Ooh, that looks interesting. Sorry, George. It wasn't gloomy, not for Hoover and their Turbo Power, because sales rocketed for the Hoover Turbo Power in 1984. I certainly had one or two. I think I've got that very Electrolux there, almost new in the box one. That little Electrolux cylinder. More lovely cleaners. Oh crikey, look, the Toshiba Carry Clean. I had one of those. These Kenwoods. Kenwood, oof, don't see those nowadays, folks. Very rare cleaners. And some wet and dries and cordless, or old-fashioned cordless. Wow, that's interesting. Put that to one side. And this fell out. V&N Vacs are the country's largest remanufacturer of vacuum cleaners. So these are clearly Hoover cleaners that they've reconditioned. They say remanufacture. That's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. And some rather old-fashioned looking gentlemen. Maybe they're not in the appliance trade anymore. And certainly V&N Vacs certainly will not exist. Okay, I'll pop these back in the box and open the final box. Here's the final box to have a quick look through. What I thought I might do is when I find some interesting news or snippets or a very nice advertisement, I could share it on my social media. So follow me on Facebook and Instagram, because that's where I upload extra photos and bits and bobs. Do the occasional live on Instagram. That's an old one, isn't it? 62, Indesit. Yes, Indesit. We're in the UK in 62 with some refrigerators. From 39 to 59 guineas. Crikey. So again, oops. I just saw vacuum cleaners, but I don't know if it was anything. Oh, look at that. A 19-inch TV. For 64 guineas. Oh, this is absolutely fascinating. I think the next few weeks I'm going to be on the internet less and looking at these more, which will be no bad thing. Some of these are a bit grubby. I've got dirty hands. I'm not sure if I'll be able to give them a brief wipe with a damp cloth. I think it's mainly the covers that are a little bit dirty. This could be the oldest pile, perhaps. 61. That's a thick magazine. And Morphy Richards was celebrating their silver jubilee in 1961, so they've paid for some extra advertising, an advertising supplement. So when other manufacturers have milestones to celebrate, I suspect we'll be seeing things in here like, I remember Hoover's 75th birthday. And of course I remember their 100th as well. Their 100th anniversary. Morphy Richards. Floor care. Okay, I'll pause the camera once more and quickly go through these. Oh, just on the back there we have a revolutionary swivel top made by Philips. Supermax says score bonus goals. I assume he was a footballer of the time. I don't know what his name was, but he was obviously known as Supermac. Do you know who Supermac was, folks? You'd have to be quite old to know who he is. 1977, that is the Queen's Jubilee year, isn't it? Right, enough of this. I'll pause the camera and show you any more exciting things. Now, I picked this up because at the time of filming this, and it still may be available on eBay when you see this video, because I'm planning on putting this video up pretty soon. This is for sale on its own. And I think the reason why people are bidding on it is due to an advertisement that was shown inside. There are actually two advertisements in here from Hoover. Yes, this one is talking about the Hoover Keymatic and how it's going to be advertised in the People, is it? The People Sunday newspaper. So that's and that was 95 guineas. That's on offer. Only 95 guineas. But there's a lovely double-page spread of a very famous Hoover going to be featured in the Daily Express. The new Hoover Constellation. Millions will see it. Daily Express. And this is 19 guineas. And I think this was the green one. Big national press campaign starts November the 3rd, spearheaded by large spaces in the Daily Express. Everyone will know about the new Hoover Constellation. New brush and comb cleaning action, whisper quiet, powerful motor, new stylish colours. These are the big new sales points that will pull in even more customers into your store. Make sure you can supply the demand by stocking up now. Learn all about this wonderful new cleaner and the advertising support material that you can have free from your Hoover area manager. Everything's new about the new Hoover Constellation. It now has greater cleaning efficiency than any other suction cleaner on the market, and it's so easy to use. The Constellation actually floats on a cushion of air, and you can have it in very easy payments and a generous allowance on your old machine. New stylish colours, jonquil and clover flower. Oh! So I know I was thinking, oh, I might bid on that. And then I realised, well, hang fire, Rog, because the magazine that you might bid a few pounds on could be included in the bundle. And here it is, it was. Just picked this out because we have another Hoover twin tub advertised on the front cover. But you see, a lot of these, it doesn't say what's in them. So I haven't even opened many of these. Haven't looked at the index. Washing brief we've got. So yes, there might be some washing machines in here. Spin dryer. Oh, what's this? All systems go. We've launched the new Service Super Twin 3. That's popped up again. Oh, more Service Super Twin 3. It's hard to say. Super Twin 3. Super Twin 3. My neighbours had a Service Super Twin in the 80s. I remember it's had a brown control panel. Oh, crikey, we had that. Haven't seen that for ages, but we used to have that when I was growing up. A Phillips knife sharpener. Wonderful. I've only picked this up because it's got some TV games in it, and this is from 1977, and it's actually got the first TV game that we had, and I actually bought one. I haven't got it to work properly yet, but I did buy one, and it was called a model by Radofin, but that was it. There, just at the bottom, that's our first, and it was just black and white and had about 4 games on it, and basically it was there was a squash game where you had the paddle that moved up and down, so you just rotated the joystick thing, and you moved this and you bounced a square ball back, and you could have tennis, and there was one that was called football. And I just saw this because this was a very popular kettle when I was growing up, and we had one of these Russell Hobbs kettles, automatic, stainless steel. That was the brushed, we had the brushed stainless steel. You could get it in polished stainless steel or polished chrome as well. And that was a very popular kettle. I believe Russell Hobbs brought it back. I think you might be able to get a cordless version of this with the same sort of retro styling, but obviously it'll be made in China now. And finally, before my legs drop off, just another quick look, because this one does say floor care on it. So let's have a look at what's in here. Oh, got some Miele, look. Oh dear. Zanussi are saying, it's a Zanussi advert, it's showing a Miele. Is it a washing machine or a dishwasher? I think it's a dishwasher. They're comparing prices. There's a Miele dishwasher there for $4.98 and a Zanussi for $2.33. Ooh. Before your customers come to the logical conclusion, shouldn't you? Well, I'd rather have the Miele myself. What year is this from? 77 again. There's so many small articles and interesting snippets that I'm sure will be fascinating reading. Let's just get to the floor care before I end the video. Lots of Hot Point ice diamonds there. Here we have the floor care. Cleaner sales pick up as polishers decline. So we had a reversal. So perhaps fitted carpets were becoming more popular in the 70s, and people were covering up their polished floors they need to polish, with carpets. And then we had a period where people were ripping out the carpets and putting laminate down, weren't they? So obviously when that happened, upright vacuum cleaners, sort of the sales of those dropped because people were just putting hard floors, and you don't want an upright on a hard floor. We've got some brands here I've never heard of. A Sicer, S-I-C-E-R. Oops, never heard of that. That's Hot Point things dropped out. The old celebrity there. Model S3005. There's the Mulinex Petivac, very popular cleaner for many years. The Miele S224 and a Goblin 603. Oh, ooh, look at that. It's a shame it's black and white. Look at that Electrolux spread there. With the 502 and the, is that the 345? It looks more like the 335. Is it 335? Two very popular cleaners of the 70s. We have the more cleaners there. Wow. Oh, look, insist on Hoover for deep down cleaning. The Starlight. And then we've got the AEG. That was on eBay a while ago, that one. Unusual AEG. And what's that one? A Vampire from AEG, a soft bag. Never seen that before. And crikey, there's another. BK. Crikey. There's a lot of vacuums here that I've never seen. Oh, the McDonald. Look, the very first vacuum. My mum, I remember my mum owning, was the McDonald Electric. And look, with the McDonald handy, there's very, very Orek vibes. They have some connection with Orek. I don't know if McDonald were first and then Orek, or I don't know how it worked, but this is from as a 77. But my mum had a McDonald Electric. It was earlier than that, early 70s. Ooh, some of these pages are a bit sticky. I think the gentleman got excited looking at these wonderful products from the 70s. I had one of those, similar. Hoover Freedom. I had that one with the tool caddy. Sold it was orange. I still have Freedoms on my that I've shown. The Freedoms I've shown you on my channel. I still have. But I think that's it. I really need to stretch my legs. Well folks, I hope this video wasn't too boring. Just a quick flick through 531 electrical and radio trading magazines. As I said before, there's bound to be a lot more of interest in these magazines than I've been able to show you in this video. But most of you have fallen asleep by now anyway. So I won't bore you with any more. But as I said, if you follow me on Facebook and Instagram, when I come across some exciting adverts and information, I will share them with you on my social media. And as I said, might do some videos of going into more detail with some particular features and articles. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this bit of a different video, but I'm sure I've got hours and hours and hours of fascinating reading ahead of me. So until the next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.